Hello and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. This is my wonderful podcast, which I do love to come on and talk about, obviously all things diet culture. But today is my Q&A episode. This is mainly for my Misfit group. It's in its last week now, which is very exciting. There's been some amazing wins that I've seen in the group, and I'm so proud of them all for challenging themselves and breaking the yo-yo cycles, which is what Misfit Group is all about. It's all about breaking the yo-yo cycles and the all or nothing approach to diet and health and fitness in general. It's very specifically to do that or tackle that in these 6 weeks. So this podcast today is all about the questions that have come up this week. I'll be covering as much as possible I can on these amazing questions and also the conversations that come up in the group as well. So I've picked out a few questions for today to cover on this podcast. So this is for my clients, obviously, but for anyone else listening as well, you can get some tips and suggestions, and it gives you a bit of an insight of what goes on inside the group as well. This is the kind of stuff that comes up in real life and when you are trying to unfuck your relationship with your body, with food, and with diet culture. So let's dive straight into it. The first question I had was how to balance food amongst different family members, each needing different meals. So this is a common issue, I would say, especially if you've got people with certain likes, tastes, and avoidances. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. They avoid certain foods for different reasons. And what you don't want to be doing, and this is why I don't really like meal plans as well, is because you don't want to be cooking yourself something different to everyone else, or trying to please everyone and cooking lots of different things. So you're already stressed, you're already busy. That's the last thing you want to do. So have a think about what you can do that people can kind of build their own or tailor their own, if that makes sense. Things like Mexican food's great for this, like fajitas. So you can have fajitas with a few options of different fillings, and people can pick and choose which fillings out of what the selection that they want to have. That means that you only have to do it once. Do the things that the majority enjoy, like choice of salad. Maybe there's tomatoes. Don't do lots of different proteins and stuff. And maybe it's just one of the proteins. Maybe there's some beans. Think about what things like that. Okay, this is the meal I'm making tonight, and I'll put everything in separate dishes that everyone can just pick their own from. That also works well with salads, having a burger night, having a pizza night, maybe on the weekend, especially if you've got kids, you can get them involved with making their own pizzas, making their own burgers. It can make it quite exciting, especially in holidays and stuff when you need stuff to do. But things like jack potato or baked potatoes for my US clients. Again, quite easy, same base, but you can have an options of different things. That is it. And I know, from experience, because I was a fussy child. I used to refuse to eat certain foods because I didn't like the texture or the taste or whatever it was. So my mum used to make the same vegetables for everyone, potatoes and carrots, whatever it was. And if there was the protein side of things, if I didn't want that, she would make me something it was just really easy, just something I would eat that was different, just to make sure I was eating, I think, most of the time. But it was always very something quick that she could just put in the oven. And I know sometimes that might not have been it was sometimes a bit processed and stuff like that, but that doesn't matter. It was more she was just making sure I ate something. I grew out of it, but that's a way to think about what could you keep vegetables and stuff the same. Maybe there's a slight tweak in the protein side of things. Maybe it's building your own things, doing different ingredients that aren't all together so people can pick and choose what they like. Is there anything else along those lines? Are there meals that everyone does enjoy that you can make sure that they are included a few times a week so that you're not having to think about this all the time? Great way to do this is to get the family together, write a list, of your like go-to meals. So maybe everyone likes a stir fry, or everyone likes a chili con carne, like everyone likes I don't know, fajitas, like I just mentioned. But maybe think about what is easy in that sense, get a list together, and then get a list of things that are like build your own. So you create like a menu. Like, I know I don't like to have set things because sometimes don't feel like it, do you? Like, plan it and you're like, that's not actually what I want today. So give yourself some choices, and like we always get like similar ingredients which we can make similar things from. And I also always have my backup plans. Usually, like, if Alex usually does the cooking, by the way, I know I mentioned this, but if he gets stuck at work or he's had a tough day at work and he can't face cooking, I know I've got my little go-tos that I can quickly make without thinking at short notice. So think about, what are your quick and easy go-tos, like when maybe you've had a day of rushing around and you haven't got time to do what you planned. Have a think about like what you could do to help separate meals out, for people can choose a bit more from the selection that you've made, or the go-tos that everyone likes. Okay, getting yourself like an actual established list that you can tweak and you can add to, just helps you for those moments when you are really stressed, when you are really busy. You're like, it's okay, because actually I know how to make this off, without even thinking about it. This is really quick for me. I mean, pasta's always my go-to. I love pasta. If you haven't, I know I probably bang on about it every week, but I do. So I do my own version of Marry Me Chicken with orzo, but I don't always use orzo. Sometimes I use different pasta. That I know I can quickly put that. That's my go-to when Alex is busy, basically, or something's come up. I know I've got the ingredients for it. They're in the cupboard. I can quickly whip that out. If we're both tired and busy, and I can do it in like 20 minutes. So it's having things like that. But yeah, so have a think. That's always my suggestion. Like, don't make this stuff hard for yourself. I think what we tend to do is like, we have to do all these like fancy recipes with all these fancy ingredients. No, we don't. Just keep it basic, keep it simple. Like, I think people overcomplicate it. Like, as long as you're getting like your base nutrients in. Have I got vegetables in this? Have I got some source of protein? Like, that's what you need to be thinking about. Not like, I need to make sure it's like this really super duper, super veg, super fruit. I don't know, like spangly fancy thing. I don't know what that is, but don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Nutrition does not need to be that complicated, okay? So, and like, who started demonizing like basic foods as well? Like, it's okay to have pasta. It's okay, unless you've got obviously certain health concerns, which don't allow you to have these certain foods. But we can, like, jacket potatoes, like baked potatoes, like I said, I remember like potatoes got a bad rap in carbs, but like vitamin C is really high in white potatoes. Like, they're really good for you. Like, let's not dismiss the humble potato. That's another one as well for a quick meal. Baked potato. Keep saying jacket, but baked. You know what I mean? Like, those kind of things. So hopefully that helps. So next one, how do I manage to be mindful of my food and my exercise goals during the holiday season without stiffening myself too much on it or restricting myself? Now, this is a great question, because obviously, like, a lot of people are still on holidays. I know some schools are starting to go back, but we need to think about, what are you valuing at this time? So first of all, like, bigger picture thinking. These holidays, they're not going to last forever, okay? Always think of the bigger picture. It's not going to be forever. It's maybe for the next few weeks, okay? What do you want to get out of the next few weeks? Where do you want your time spent? Is it spending some quality time with family? Is it, no, actually, this is my time to knuckle down and work towards the goals? Or is it like, I just want to maintain in this moment while things are busy, so then I can, because I want to be around my family, and that's what I'm valuing as well. Think about, like, I think we get too caught up in, like, we have to try and juggle everything every day all at the same time. But we don't need to. You need to, like, things will change. Life goes in ebbs and flows. It might be these next few weeks are more maintaining, and making sure you are spending time with your family, or with the kids, however that looks. Think about what you want to achieve. Okay, what is actually important to you over the next few weeks? Because after those few weeks are done, what's going to happen in the months after that, between September and Christmas? Things don't have to be constantly progress. We can go through times of maintaining. And this is what stops the all or nothing thinking, by the way. This is what stops going in and out of things, learning that it's okay to take your foot off the pedal at times and just maintain until things calm down again or things change again. But to answer this question in a bit more detail, this is where the anchor points come in as well. So obviously keeping up food, keeping up your exercise goals during this holiday. What does exercise look like for you in this time? Because it could change a little bit. And I know I talk about that flexibility of exercise, it doesn't need to be the same thing every single week. Is it that you're out more with the kids, cycling, walking, doing activities? So if you are out doing that more, maybe it's cutting down your workouts at home, or if you don't have the time for them. Or is it that actually they're really important to me, so I'm going to make sure I do them in the morning so I've got time to do the other things in the daytime. Same with the food as well. Sometimes during the holidays we're out and about a bit more, there's a lot more going on. So think about the food that you can control. The food, for me, I always talk about smoothies, but a smoothie in the morning for me is a non-negotiable. That is I know I'm going to get my fruit in, and I'm getting some protein in, and it's quite light, so it gives me more flexibility in the day. I still do it on the weekends, even if I know I'm going out. It's something I always keep in. I'm well, I know I've got protein in, I know I've got my 2 fruit in, so that's one thing done. Think about how that looks for you. Same, it does give you more flexibility, but think about okay, if I am going out a bit more, what are the foods that I can control, or the meals that I can control, and what do I want to make sure that I'm getting in, because I might not be able to do it while I'm out and about. So things like making sure I've got enough vegetables, thinking I'll get enough fruit. But that's to be the mindfulness, the anchor points that I talked about, because I just briefly went over that. The anchor points is something obviously I talk a lot about, but think about how what is a non-negotiable for you? What are the things that help keep you grounded? What are the things that help keep you in a good headspace around your food and exercise? Is it getting up and moving your body first thing in the morning? That is one for me. Is it certain meals that help keep you grounded? I mentioned the smoothie. Is that for me? Going out for a walk every day for me is a non-negotiable. Obviously I've got Bodhi that I need to take out, but that for me is I need to get out for a walk. I work from home. If I'm not careful, I can spend all my day inside. So getting out for a walk at some point is absolutely a non-negotiable for me. It's not about exercise, that one. That's more for my headspace, and keeping myself taking a break from my laptop, taking a breather. I don't listen to a podcast. I don't listen to anything. I literally just go out for a little walk. So think about those things. So hopefully that made sense. So this last one as well, I do think this is an issue that comes up with a lot of people, and I'm so glad this came up in the questions this week, is how to effectively shed some excess fat while not falling for the diet culture shit. And this is where diet culture really fails us, because research shows that diet culture, obviously I've talked about a lot, creates these yo-yo cycles, these kind of all or nothing thinking. So you're you're on, you're off, you're chasing one diet to the next, and different fads, maybe different plans, but they're all basically the same thing. They're all basically not very sustainable. You go in, they can be quite restrictive, they don't really fit around your life, so you start them, and then obviously because you can't keep it up, you start feeling fed up, you start feeling miserable, so you stop. And that creates that yo-yo. That yo-yo cycle, in the long term, does impact negatively on your mental health, but on your physical health as well. And it's actually shown in the research to cause long-term weight gain. So knowing that, what we need to aim for is sustainability. Health and sustainability. When you start focusing on health and sustainability, the rest starts falling into place. So remove the focus from fat loss and focus on health. Focus on longevity. Can't speak now. Focus on longevity. Focus on sustainability. The best diet you can have is the one you can do long term. Think about your life and how you want that to look. When you stop these yo-yo cycles, when you stop going in and out of dieting, when you create that sustainability, yes, it is a bit slower on the progress, which I know can be a bit of a head fuck for a lot of people. That's why, obviously I'm here to support you guys through it, because you're not, when you're in these diets and diet culture, you usually see something quite quick results, but obviously then it's not sustainable, so then it leads to that yo-yo. What we're doing here is getting rid of that cycle, which means the progress is slower, but it's going to be sustainable and longer. So fat loss happens when you start focusing on sustainability, on focusing on health, and making sure that you're not going through these yo-yo cycles. So obviously what we talk about to make sure that you are aiming for that is consistent exercise. Now, as you know, I don't talk about consistency being the same every single week, but okay, what do I need to do every week? This is what I talk about, in the voice notes that I send in the group chat, the flexibility around your plans, plan A, plan B, plan C. What does plan A look like? Plan A being normal week, what can you get done? What is the optimal that you want to get done? That is your plan A. Plan B, what is the second choice that I can do here? If I can't do plan A, what can plan B look like? What can plan C look like? That helps you keep up consistency without 1 week doing perfect exercise, then life gets busy for 2 weeks and you do nothing. That's again feeding into all or nothing and yo-yoing, not keeping up consistency. We need flexibility. We have incredibly busy lives, and I know you lot that are in the group, a lot on your plate. So you need to create flexibility. So what does different weeks look like for you? Different types of exercise, and in the on-demand section as well, there is the resources there to help with how to shorten workouts and how to create that flexibility. So go and make sure that you do read that, and obviously any questions you can put more in here. But this is what it is. It's about shifting your focus from fat loss to what can I do long term, what is sustainable, and what does health look like for me. So like I said, consistent workouts, focusing on your foods. Am I getting enough fiber? Am I getting enough my nutrients from fruit and veg? Am I getting enough protein? They should be your main focuses, and then you put everything else around it, because we need to remember that health isn't just physical, it's mental, it's an emotional as well. So think about the other things that are part of your life. What do you value? Because it's all wrapped up together. When we're stuck in diet culture, it steals so much more from us than we realise. It steals our connections, it steals our presence, it steals us just being there and enjoying life. And we need to remember that's part of our health as well. So hopefully that helps. Again, if any more questions come up from this, just pop them in the group after you listen. If it's a discussion you want me to elaborate on, because I love talking about it. So, and that's it for today. So for anyone listening and you're actually I do need some help, I want to break these yo-yo cycles, I'm fed up with it, fed up with diet culture, then the next Misfit group is running on the 7th of September. The waitlist is open. I have had an incredible response this time. I haven't even really spoken about it on social media, but there's been a lot of people in my DMs and a lot of people really wanting to knuckle down and break these cycles, which obviously Misfit group is perfect for. So if you're ready, the waitlist is open. Early bird, anyone on the waitlist will get first dibs on the early bird, and they will go, that email will go out on the 23rd of August. So don't wait on it. Even if you're thinking about it, sign yourself up in the waitlist, because then you give yourself the option. And I'll be excited to see you on there. Let's go.